Hello, everybody. Today I am interviewing an amazing client of mine, Cathy, who at age 77 has lost 45 pounds. This time she knows it's for good after a lifetime of yo yo dieting. And if you are new around here, g'day, I'm Kerryn. I'm the Plant Power Coach and the creator of the Transform with Plants coaching program. And I help women lose weight on a plant based diet, building healthy habits, breaking unhealthy habits, and becoming the woman who keeps it off forever. So, let's get in. Let me give you a little bit of a summary when I first met Cathy. When she first came to me, she said, Kerryn, I'm whole food plant based. I eat healthy. And I know how to lose weight. I've lost it many times in my life. I've just never learned how to keep it off. And I said, no problem. That's the work that we're going to do together. We're going to find the reason you keep putting it back on. It's going to start to become obvious, and that's the real work. So let's hear the story from Cathy. Hi, Cathy. Welcome. Take us back. I'd love to go back to your history and talk about where it was you were struggling, and tell us about your history with gaining weight, with dieting, with weight loss in general. Tell us about the diets you've been on, where this all started, what you've done, the help you've sought. Take us back.
Okay. And you stop me if I go afield anywhere. So I would say it started 65 years ago, when I was 12. And my parents were fighting over my weight because my mother was Italian and wanted me to eat, eat, eat. And my father was British, and it was like diet, diet, diet. And they used to fight over it all the time. So the doctor put me on what were called diet pills. Turns out they were speed, is what they were. And I don't recall if they worked, but that started the journey. And after that, I was on, I think I counted 14 different diets, whether it's Stillman diet, the Pritikin diet, the liquid diet, the too many, Richard Simmons, Deal a Meal, Nutrisystem, Jenny Craig, Dr. Atkins, all of them. And
Weight
every one
Watchers.
of them worked.
Yeah.
Every one of them worked.
Mm.
I always lost weight.
Mm-hmm.
I think because and I really just recognized this recently, because my father and I used to fight over what I could and couldn't eat, right? Restaurant, I'd say, what do you want? I want a sandwich. He'd say, she'll have a salad. And they'd say, so what dressing do you want? I'll have blue cheese. She'll have oil and vinegar. Because we had that fight, whenever I would come off one of those diets where I'd lost all that weight, I would say to myself, hey, I'm a grown up. I can eat whatever I want. And I'm not going to let Jenny Craig tell me or Nutrisystem tell me or anybody else. And so I would slowly gain it back. I didn't gain it back quickly. I'd gain back maybe a pound a month. And so it would take me like 4 years to get back up there again. And then I'd get up there, and I had internally a place that I didn't want to go beyond. I could gain 50 pounds and be very happy. But when I gained 60, I didn't like that. So I would lose it all over again, and we'd start that whole thing all over again. Yeah. But each diet was don't say no, or just say no, right?
Yeah.
Don't eat this, don't eat that, don't eat in front of television, don't eat at the movie theater, don't. And I'd get to the end, and it would just tick me off again. I can eat whatever I want.
That rebellious teenager, and you would come out and you were fighting your dad once again, right?
Always,
it's like, no, I want autonomy over my eating behaviors. Yeah, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
Mom was happy with me eating pasta, so I'm happy eating pasta. And every Italian's fat, so give me a break. And I was happily a size 14 most of my life. Now, there were a few times I lost a lot of weight. As I told you, twice during that time I got married. That was always dangerous. So do I really want to be that thin? I don't think so. It doesn't work out well for me. So being thin was a scary place for me to be. Okay. Being size 14 was a very comfortable place for me. So that's kind of where I've been all these years, up and down and up and down and up and down.
Yeah. Okay.
So what happened recently, a couple of years ago, is I have a cardiologist who loves that I'm plant-based, because he is too. He's whole food, plant-based, no oil cardiologist. He's great. And I have an oncologist who is also whole food, plant-based, because
you are lucky.
I am very lucky, very lucky. And the cardiologist found that I have a genetic predisposition to heart disease. It was one of the reasons that I became vegan. Is all the women in my family die from sudden heart attacks. And so he did all that work and found out, well, the bad news is you have the heart attack gene, just like the other ladies in your family. So he found that I had that, but he said, the good news is we did a scan of your arteries and you have zero cholesterol buildup and you have zero calcium buildup. I said, how could that be? And he said, because you eat so healthfully that your arteries aren't inflamed. And in order for that stuff to stick in the arteries, you have to have inflamed arteries. So even though we have no cure for lipoprotein A, if you continue to eat as healthfully as you are, you can expect your arteries to be just as clean.
Yeah.
So that was really great. He said, but being overweight has some other issues like cancer. And that's why the oncologist wanted me to lose weight. So he said, I know how healthfully you eat. I think you should go on a statin. And I went, I'm old enough to remember fen-phen that ruined everybody's hearts.
Yeah.
Everybody thought it was healthy, and then it wasn't. I'm not ready to do that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure there are people watching this that go, hey, you know what? You're already 77. You don't have that much time left. Why do you care? Right? And I think the reason I care is because I want to be the one in control.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so somebody mentioned you on Facebook. And I thought, let's give it a shot. At least she won't fight with me about whether I have to eat lean protein. Because, you know, I went to a nutritionist in 2014 and I said, I want a vegan diet. She did her best, but she wanted me on eggs and all that stuff that I'm not willing to eat. So I thought, at least you and I could agree on what food I'm going to eat.
That's true. Like you mentioned before, like the other programs that you've done, like Weight Watchers and Noom, and I think you said you did hypnotism as well. Like
I did,
what sort of, with the support that they were giving you, because you actually joined their programs, you weren't just like following the plan on your own.
Right. Right.
What was the sort of support that you got with them, and what was helpful versus what was not, do you think?
Well, it was all helpful in that they were giving me the rules. Do this, don't do that. And as long as I followed the rules, I lost weight. They were good stewards of what they preach.
Yeah.
But in the end, I gain it back because I'm too rebellious.
You want autonomy, and that's fine. That's great. So, and the hypnotist, because that's not something we talked about. You just told me. What are they trying to get you to do?
I don't know. I just remember he hypnotized me and I still ate anyway. So
okay. Yeah.
It didn't work. But he was a top guy in Los Angeles.
Okay. Amazing.
But that's how desperate I was to try every possibility.
Yeah.
You know?
That's great.
And as I say, most of them will work if you will deprive yourself. And isn't that the single thread through all of them is deprivation?
Yeah.
And so I expected you were going to deprive me of things also.
Tell us about what you thought you were going to have to do to get the weight off.
Well, I thought you were going to deprive me, but at least it would be, at least I would get to eat the food that I wanted to eat.
Yeah.
Right.
So, what way did you think you were going to be deprived?
I would have to, I started depriving myself because you didn't do it. So it's like, okay, if you're not going to tell me what to do, I'm going to not go to restaurants and I'm going to not have bread in the house. And I started doing all the deprivation stuff. And you just, and one night we went to a restaurant and the only thing they were serving was pizza. And it was my birthday and I had to eat it because there was nothing else. And I felt a little bad. And you said, don't. I hope you really enjoyed it. And I did actually. But you never told me to deprive myself. You never did. And so, but you taught me the ways, things that were getting in my way. And getting in my way was, gee, I'm in the neighborhood. I think I'll go to the vegan sandwich shop. And the only thing that you kept saying to me was, don't start eating until you're hungry. Now, I know that sounds silly, but with those other 12, 14 plans, nobody ever said that. Nobody ever said, don't start eating. They would say, here's what you should have for breakfast. Here's what you should have for lunch. Nobody said, don't start eating until you're hungry. And
Feel your hunger. Yeah, right. And
nobody ever said that. What a concept, right?
sounds
So
simple, but
it
so hard
sounds simple.
if it's not a habit that we already have.
And
Yeah.
what I found is if you wait until you're hungry, you won't overeat. Because when you start eating when you're not hungry, there isn't any way to know you're full until you're a little sick.
Mm.
But
Mm.
if you start when you're hungry, it's kind of like, that first drink of water when you're really, really, really thirsty, and that first drink of water tastes so good. The ones after that taste a little bit not as good, not as good. And then I think it's that way with food. When I wait until I'm hungry, boy, that first meal tastes really good, but I pretty instantly know when I've had enough.
Mm.
And that's a whole new thing for me,
Yeah.
completely new.
So I know that your journey was mostly about starting to recognize like your body's cues,
Yes.
learning how to follow your hunger and fullness cues rather than following those diet rules to a T. And I think this is really
Right.
important for a lot of people to hear because even in the whole food plant-based community, I speak to a lot of women all the time who are saying, I'm following the diet perfectly, yet nothing is shifting. And yet, when we go deeper and have a deeper conversation, there is, just like you, there's eating because eating very large meals, and yes, we're supposed to have decent volume of food, but overeating, getting used to the body getting used to feeling overstuffed, and then because of that, never really feeling hungry by the next meal, and but eating again anyway, and it's just this cascading effect of slightly more than the body needs at every single meal, so the body's
Yep.
never really getting into a calorie deficit enough to be able to lose body fat. So I know that that's what you learned about your own behavior, but what do you think? I know you learned about where that started. Tell us about that.
Even when I was plant-based, right? Obviously, I was eating too much. I
Mm,
didn't know I was eating too much.
yeah.
Just 2 days ago, I went into Whole Foods, which you know of. It's a sort of a healthy place to eat. I hadn't been in probably for a year, and I went in, and I was shocked at all the food I used to eat, and I used to eat it because it was vegan.
Mm,
But I thought, gee, in the old days, I would have taken some of that cashew ice cream and I might have taken some of those chips that are made with quinoa or something. So I was focused on the healthy part, but I
mhm,
was not at all focused on does your body want it?
mhm,
And in fact, I think that was one of the realistic things that you and I got to. At first it was, are you hungry?
mhm,
And then that progressed into, are you hungry for that?
mm,
Sometimes I would make a bunch of, Esselstyn muffins
mhm.
and think, oh boy, I can't wait until I'm hungry again so I can eat them. And when I'm hungry again, yeah, but I'm not hungry for that
Mm.
now.
Isn't that
And so
interesting?
that was a progression that I made. First, it was just, are you hungry? And then it was, what are you hungry for?
Mm,
And as a result, I found that I'm not eating the same foods. I, rarely eat pasta, which I love.
mhm,
Um, there's a lot of things I rarely eat anymore because my body's just never hungry for them.
mm.
And
And what
that's
do
so
you,
that's been a big,
yeah, and I love the way you say that too. It's that you're really tuning into what your body wants
yeah,
rather than what your brain wants. When people often hear, "What am I hungry for?" It's like, "No, I don't want the apple. I want the candy bar," or something like that. Some version
yeah.
of, "No, that's not going to satisfy me. This thing over here that's unhelpful is going to satisfy me." But you're talking about not listening to your brain. You're talking about listening to your body and what does my body really feel like in this moment? What would satisfy my body?
Yeah.
And I think that's a big missing piece from a lot of people's journeys as well.
I
Uh,
feel like it's been talking to me for 65 years and I've been going, shh, I'm listening to Jenny Craig. Shh, I'm
yeah,
listening to
yeah,
Dr. Atkins. Shh,
yeah.
I'm listening to Weight Watchers. And I haven't been listening to my body. And now that I do, it's shocking that most of the time my body wants greens and salads and even when I have pasta. I made this great pasta dish the other day for my granddaughter and I thought, oh, good. And when I put it on the plate, I thought, yeah, but I don't want a whole plate of pasta. I want this much pasta, and I'd really like some broccoli with that and some zucchini with that. That's not me. That's not what I want.
You've
I don't think
trained.
I had zucchini my whole life growing up, and now that's what my body wants.
I love it. You've trained your gut and your brain are now and your mind all working together, which I think is great. Tell us about also some of the other eating habits that you identified, particularly the old lunchtime habit that you had.
Well, I don't know if this is the one that you're talking about, but there's a place in town
Yep, that's
that I
it.
love to go to, right? And it's a small place with a husband and wife. The husband's the cook, the wife is the waitress. And I love going in there several times a week. And so I was sorry to give that up. But one day I went in there and the wife wasn't there. There was another waitress. And I realized the food wasn't nearly as good, even though it was the same thing I always order. And I realized that part of my whole thing about going there was the comfort. It's like having your mom bring you food and wait on you and all that stuff. And I realized it was the experience that I was going there for, not the food, even though the food's great, but it was more than that.
Yeah. And what did you tell us about what you realized about that experience that you enjoyed so much?
That I enjoyed with her waiting on me hand and foot.
Yeah.
Well, it because I'm in sort of a high stress business, I'm able to go there, be calm, be quiet, have nobody bother me. It was just a very calming experience.
Yeah. 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 So guys, this Kathy's amazing. She still owns her own business and still working at 77, by the way. She's incredible.
With no plans to retire. I'm just going to drop at my desk and
I remember what you said to me about that experience when you first
yes.
had the aha. And you said that you recognized that getting out of the house was a way for you to break from the stress and the busyness of your day and taking care of everybody else. You've got 500 clients you're looking after, and you've got 4 fur babies who demand your attention. 5 now. Oh, that's right. Another one. That's right. So at the time you had the 4 and everyone was demanding your attention, and getting out of the house was a way for you to come back into your body, to break from the stress and everybody needing you, and going to that restaurant with that waitress. You said it was like your mum,
Yeah.
looking after you, feeding you. And in that time, you weren't just eating the food they were serving you, you were also overeating because that's what your mum allowed you to do. But she was the Italian with the big plates and eating all the pasta.
She insisted you don't leave any pasta on the plate. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And so I think that was a really awesome learning and connecting that habit to a past experience where you felt nurtured, you felt loved, and it felt nice for you. And it was like it was a way you were changing your state in the middle of the day. And so, as a result of that awareness, how did you change that habit? Because I know how you wanted to change it, and that was, I'm not going to eat out on my own ever again, or at least till I get the first 20 pounds off. What did you decide to do? How did you decide to take care of those needs as a result of that awareness?
Oh, I see. So I rarely go to that restaurant, not because I don't love it, but because what they serve, it's not a vegan restaurant. And so what they serve, as delicious as it is, no longer is what my body wants.
Yeah.
So I would still go there if that's what my body wanted.
Yeah.
But now if I need to get out of the house, I can still leave. I'm a mile from the ocean. So I can leave. In fact, see the picture behind me is the Golden Gate Bridge, which is 2 hours north of me. I just thought that's, but I can still leave the house, leave the animals, leave my clients, but I don't have to connect food to it.
Yeah, right. You can still get that break. You can still
go give myself a break, but I don't have to be fed.
Yeah, exactly. Go somewhere that helps you regulate your nervous system, calm the stress, take a break from everybody. Yeah, it doesn't have to connect to food. And that feeling of being taken care of. I remember you found a way to get that need met as well. Do you remember what you did or what I'm talking about?
I don't. What did I tell you?
Okay. So we talked about this, but it was when you prepared food for yourself ahead of time. And so you already had it available. Yeah. So it was like all you needed to do was assemble it and then sit down, and you were already taken care of. You were taking care of you.
Yes, I do still do that.
Yeah, so you didn't have to
I
get up
still,
and like fully prepare meals and feel like you were working. It was already done
right.
for you, to already taking care of yourself ahead of time.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you're right. And I still do that. And I am sometimes I'll be out of the house, maybe coming back from a physical therapy appointment or something, and think, oh, I'm really hungry. I could stop and get X, maybe sushi, right? Something that I could have. And then I instantly think, oh, but I've got that stuff in the refrigerator that is so good. I love that blank that I make. It could be the tofu nuggets. It could be the hummus. I make all these sort of fast food items, and I always would rather have those. And so I'll come home and throw something together, and I don't even know what I'm going to throw together. I've just got a bunch of pieces that when I get home, I can throw them together and take care of myself. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
beautiful. Yeah. So what would you say have been like the core behavior changes that have helped you get to where you are now?
Well, for me, clearly the big one is listening to my own hunger cues,
Yeah.
because that sort of what I think that did, and I think I've mentioned this before, it's like those TV shows where there's a bomb and somebody comes in, the crew comes in and cuts one at a time until the bomb has been diffused.
Yeah.
And that's what it feels like. It feels like by listening to my hunger cues, I've stopped doing one at a time the things I used to do, automatically going to that restaurant or automatically doing that, or whatever the behaviors were that weren't helping me.
Hmm.
One by one, those have been diffused, but they've been diffused really because I listen to what my body wants. I give my body what it wants. And shockingly, my body never wants junk. I have all kinds of candy in the house from Halloween. I gave it all away because it's not because I'm being a good girl by not eating it. My body doesn't want it. It just doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so by listening to my hunger cues, one by one, all of those negative behaviors have been disconnected.
Yeah, that's amazing. And one of the things that I do know from learning about the psychology of our eating behaviors is that anytime we're telling ourselves, don't eat this, what are we
Yeah,
focused on? Like,
do it.
don't think of a pink elephant. Where does your brain go, right? You
Yeah.
can't not think of something. You can't not. And so anytime you think you're taking something away from you, especially something that gives you a lot of pleasure, especially dopamine, right? The brain goes
Right.
panic mode. Like we're not going to get that thing that gives us that pleasurable chemical. Therefore, your life is going to be in danger. So the brain ramps up things like cravings and urges and hunger and things like that to try and motivate you to go back to it. You end up thinking about it constantly. And this is where a lot of people get stuck. It's like, I'm not allowed this. I can't have that.
Yeah.
And because they're thinking about it all the time, it makes it really hard to disconnect from those foods. But when we get more connected to our body and what our body wants and what makes us feel good, what improves our energy, what improves our digestion, then we end up just almost effortlessly moving more towards those foods and thinking about the unhelpful foods less and less. And if we do happen to have something, because we're already connected to our body and how our body feels, we go, oh, no, that didn't work. Let's not do that again. That doesn't feel good. And it's easy to
Yeah.
walk away from.
And you never told me there was anything I couldn't eat. You
Yeah, I
never,
said, like, you're a grown adult, you can put what you like in your body,
yeah.
but just pay attention to how your body feels
Think of
afterwards.
what the consequences are. Pay attention to how your body feels.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. So listening to your hunger cues was one. Is there anything else that you feel was core for you?
I don't know. That was obviously a big one because that set everything else in place,
Yeah, okay.
you
That's
know,
amazing. Yeah.
and maybe comfort yourself differently with
Yeah.
something other than food. But again, you don't comfort yourself with food if you already know you're not going to eat until you're hungry,
Yeah.
right? Because your hunger may not line up with when you want comfort. So yesterday, somebody posted on the Facebook page for Esselstyn,
Yeah.
went, oh, I know I'm supposed to eat all these hummus. I love hummus, but how much can I eat? And it made me laugh because I thought, eat as much as your body wants.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
listen to Dr. Greger tell you how much you should eat, right? If your body wants a little bit, you have a little bit. If your body wants a lot, eat a lot. It'll tell you just listen to it, it will tell you. I promise it will tell you.
It's funny. I do hear people saying, like, how much should I eat? Like, is a half a cup of rice or a whole
Right.
cup of rice? I'm like,
Right.
I don't
It's,
know.
I don't know.
What satisfies you, right?
Exactly.
There is no such thing as a serving size. And, somebody who is at goal weight will need a different amount of food than somebody who is not at goal weight. And somebody who is highly active will need different amount of food to somebody who's sedentary. So we've all got to come back to learning what is right for our body and letting our body be the guide. I think, there's so much body wisdom that we're not listening to. And when we can go inwards and start listening to ourselves and really trusting our own body and our intuition rather than, prescribed rules, yeah, I think we have so much more power.
Yeah. And I have seen that already. The portion sizes I had when I started with you were much bigger. They were enough to lose weight. But now when I go to have the same meal, I have a lot less because I'm just not as hungry as I used to be because I'm a little smaller.
Yeah, exactly. You've lost 45 pounds, so your body needs less food. Yeah,
Yeah.
what worked for you in the early days to get you going is not what your body needs now. So really listen to
Exactly.
that. And I know that you've still got battling with an Achilles tendon problem.
I still have a boot on.
Yeah, like Cathy hasn't been even walking because she has a moon boot on. And so exercise hasn't actually been able to be part of her routine. But I know that, when you get that off, you're going to bring back movement into your routine because that's
I would definitely like to. But it wasn't necessary to lose the weight, but it's necessary for good health.
Absolutely. And as you start to do that, you might notice your hunger cues shift and then you might need a little bit more food. So, but now that you are in the habit of listening to your body, you can support your body with what it needs and not regain that weight.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I no longer find that this is a mystery. I know, and that's how I know I will never gain the weight back because I know now who to go to. Who to ask. My body will tell me. Yeah.
Exactly.
If it wants more, it gets more. If it doesn't want any, it doesn't get any. Just it's pretty simple.
Yeah. We have been conditioned to not trust ourselves. This world of false pleasures, food abundance, dieting, diet rules, all that sort of stuff. And yes, I love the whole food plant-based community, amazing, but I think we would all be whole food plant-based if we were listening to our body.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I agree.
But we don't need to be rigid and strict. There are plenty of people out there at a healthy weight who are not strictly whole food plant-based. So we don't need to be 100% rigid and strict all the time. And this is where we drive ourselves crazy trying to be strict. We need to find a way that we can build consistency and learn to trust ourselves and our body. If you were to give everybody watching, and I can see Leslie, Dave, Trisha, Deb, Annika, if anyone else is there, just say g'day. They're all watching. If you were to leave everyone watching or anyone watching on repeat with 3 core takeaways, I think I know what one of them is going to be, to help them move forwards if they realize that they are stuck or sitting where you were, what would those 3 core takeaways be?
Well, not to be redundant, but clearly for me, the number one is listen to your body.
Yeah.
That's clearly, because that to me is the whole ball game.
Yeah.
Right. And another one for me, I think, was don't subscribe to the just say no folks. Right. Don't deprive yourself of, don't believe you can't do this, you can't have that, you can only eat here, you can't eat with the television on, or what, all those rules that we learned. I just feel like I can throw those out the window. And I guess maybe along with that is just trust yourself. Trust yourself above all others, even above Kerryn, because Kerryn doesn't know how hungry you are either.
Yeah. And I tell people, I don't know how much you should be eating. Like, what is your body telling you, right?
That's right. But trust that your body will tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I don't think I try, as I said, I haven't listened to my body in 65 years until now.
Yeah.
It's kind of late in the game, and I'm really sorry it took me this long to get it.
Yeah. You were
my
taught
life
to
would have been
trust
very
your
different.
body. You had one parent overfeeding you and the other one trying to put you on a diet. You just never learned how to.
And neither of those were
trust.
really, neither of them were really correct, but they get their messages from their families.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even that I didn't trust myself. I never knew my body was giving me cues. I just didn't realize that at all, that, it'll tell me.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No idea.
Amazing. Okay. Well, it's
But it works. That's what I can tell you. And it is by far the easiest program. If you even call this a program, I don't know what you call it. Whatever it is, it's the easiest program I've ever done.
oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's so simple. Just like, listen, it's like having the little Jiminy Cricket. You're not old enough to remember that, but the little, do you remember Jiminy Cricket
Oh
on your shoulder?
yeah.
Do you remember Jiminy Cricket on your shoulder telling you what to do? It'll tell you.
Yeah.
Just listen.
Yeah, beautiful. Margaret says hi, so does Nancy, so does Janet. So say hi to the ladies.
I know that Margaret and Nancy have heard this a million times. They're like, oh, is she going through how easy it is again? Tell her to stop. But it has been for me.
Yeah,
it has been for me.
Yeah.
And they've been inspirations because they lost so much weight, both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Hear that, ladies? Hear that? You're inspired, Cathy.
That's right.
Okay. Any last words for people? Anything else that comes to mind?
No, no. I'd say listen to your body and don't be too hard on yourself. So what if you have a cookie? Do not beat yourself up because you had a cookie, because that spreads over for the next week. That's one of those rabbit holes you don't want to go down.
Yeah.
Enjoy the cookie and start over again. Tomorrow, just listen to your body more, because I promise you, your body did not want a cookie. You wanted a cookie for a million reasons.
Yep.
Your body didn't. So just go back the next day to listening to your body, but don't beat yourself up over.
And even if you did want a cookie, the cookie itself doesn't just automatically make you gain weight or stop you losing weight.
Right.
If you stop at one cookie and really enjoy that one cookie, you will stop after one cookie. It's easier. But do set yourself up for success. Don't beat yourself up. Support yourself. Listen to your body. Don't deprive yourself. Don't say you can't. Don't just say no. Trust your body. Trust yourself above all others.
Yeah.
I love that. That's really like just good old common sense advice there. Right.
Even if you're old and short, right? I'm not a person who should be able to lose weight being old and short and in a boot. So
what have your doctors said? What have your doctors said?
Well, the first time I saw them, I had lost about 30 pounds, and they were scared to death that they didn't know I was on any kind of program. So now they're like, oh my God, this sudden weight loss. Doctors don't like sudden weight loss.
No.
Well, it wasn't really that sudden. They just hadn't seen me for a while.
Yeah.
But when I see them at the annual meeting and say, so now could we stop talking about shots, please? In the meantime, I've had friends who have gone on the shots. They've all gotten sick and they all gained the weight back.
Oh, man.
So,
they're not a magic bullet. There is no magic bullet. The magic bullet,
no magic bullet.
Is healthy habits, breaking your unhealthy or sabotaging habits that stop you achieving success, and really just shifting those patterns, shifting those automatic behaviors. And that's what Cathy's done. This is why she knows it's gone for good this time. Yeah. She's not just on another diet, right? She's been taught new skills, new habits, new ways of really moving through the world, which is listening to her body. So I think it's been a very powerful conversation. Thanks, Cathy.
Well, thank you.
And I know how terrified
I had to go all the way to Australia to lose this weight.
That's all right. At least someone was here to help you. I happily put up my hand and said, g'day. I'm happy to help you. And that's the thing I love about what I do, is that I know that everybody has a different story. Everyone has a different struggle. Everyone has a different starting position, but we're all trying to achieve the same thing. We're all trying to achieve a healthy body weight. We're all trying to have a healthy relationship with our food, be more of a calm eater, less reactive eater. And that definitely can be achieved. We just need to understand what is standing in the way of being able to do that. What are our patterns? What are our history? Once we learn all that stuff, we can start to decide differently and retrain ourselves moving forwards, because our current patterns are just ways we've trained ourselves to behave. And once people are more aware of that, we can start to retrain ourselves differently. It can be done. You can see Cathy here. Thank you,
Oh,
Cathy.
good.
Yeah, right. And Margaret said, sending you lots of love, Cathy. I love hearing your story.
Oh, thank you, Margaret. You've been an inspiration because Margaret hit 45 pounds when I was like at 10,
Yeah.
right? So I knew it was possible.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thank you so much. Let's wrap that up there. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for everyone for joining in. And if you're watching on replay, don't forget #afterparty. And thanks for tuning in too. All right. Ciao. Bye.
Bye.